You hear the word fasting, and what comes to mind? Probably diets, right? Health trends. But what if I told you that the biggest, most widespread fast on the entire planet isn't really about a diet at all? It's about devotion. We're going to explore that amazing connection between faith and biology.
So, let's start with a basic question. Is fasting just about what you're eating? Or maybe when you're eating? It sounds simple, but trust me, the answer opens up this whole other level of understanding.
Because it turns out, science is showing us that why you fast might be the most important part. That motivation, that deep-seated reason, it can completely change how the fast works and what it does to your body. The why is everything.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's really unpack this global practice and figure out what makes it so different from the kind of intermittent fasting everyone's talking about these days.
All right, first things first, let's get the definition straight. Ramadan fasting is what's called a dry intermittent fast, and dry is the key word here. It means zero food, but also, and this is a big deal, zero water or any other drinks from the crack of dawn all the way until sunset. And this goes on every single day for a whole month.
And right there, that's where you see this huge difference. On one hand, you've got fasting for, health reasons. It's focused on weight, metabolism, that kind of thing. But on the other hand, you have Ramadan. The driver there is totally different. It's about spiritual commitment. The focus isn't just on what you're not eating, it's this whole holistic thing that really reshapes your entire day-to-day life.
And that spiritual driver, well, that's the game changer. It's not just some extra feature. No, it's the engine. It's what powers the whole experience.
There's this quote from Handy and Ferris that just hits the nail on the head. It says, "You simply cannot understand the fast without its faith-based framework." That religious context is what's actively shaping everything, a person's behavior, their lifestyle, their whole routine. I mean, just think about that for a second. This incredibly powerful spiritual motivation, it creates a level of commitment that you would just never, ever see in a standard diet study. We are literally talking about hundreds of millions of people all changing their lives together at the same time, year after year. It's incredible.
So how exactly does this devotion reshape an entire 24-hour day? Let's take a closer look. I mean, it's a pretty wild thought, right? What happens when an entire community stops organizing its day around the typical 9 to 5, and instead organizes it around faith, around the rising and setting of the sun? Well, what you get is a total overhaul of daily life. Sleep schedules get completely flipped around. People are up before dawn for a meal. Your social life suddenly revolves around breaking the fast together in the evening. Everything, and I mean everything, from when you eat to when you drink, gets rearranged to fit this new rhythm. And here's the key takeaway. None of this is by chance. These aren't random choices. It's a super-structured, disciplined system that's dictated by specific religious timings. This is so much more than just, skipping breakfast. It's a methodical, daily reorganization of your most basic life patterns.
And it's exactly that structure, that system, that creates this incredible bridge. It connects our day-to-day behavior directly to our biology. It's where the spiritual and the scientific meet.
So the big question is, how do all these structured lifestyle changes actually show up in the body? What's happening on a biological level? There's another great quote here, this one from Al-Shamari, that says the practice integrates faith with biomedical changes. And that word integrates is so important. It means these aren't two separate things. The faith is actually causing the biomedical changes. Okay, so let's walk through a day. It all starts before dawn with a meal that's called suhoor. Then, from the moment the sun is up until it sets, it's a complete dry fast. Nothing. At sunset, you break the fast with a meal called iftar, and that kicks off an evening of socializing, prayer, and of course, a totally different sleep schedule. Then you wake up and do it all over again. Now, this incredibly rigid and predictable daily cycle has a massive effect on the body. It actually shifts our internal body clocks, our circadian rhythms. It changes our metabolism, and it totally rewires how and when we hydrate. It's a full system update. So when you start putting all these pieces together, a new picture emerges. You realize Ramadan fasting isn't just a diet. It's way more than that. It's a whole, complete health model. Yeah, the real takeaway here is, forget thinking of this as just a diet. What we're actually looking at is a fully integrated system. A system where spirit, behavior, and biology are all woven together. And it works kind of like this. You start with step 1, the spiritual foundation. This is the powerful why behind everything. That why then leads directly to step 2,
These huge shifts in your behavior and your lifestyle. That's the how. And finally, all those structured changes trigger step 3, the body responds. It adapts physiologically. And that's the what.
You see, it's a perfect chain of cause and effect. The belief system is the engine that drives the behavior, and then that behavior is what produces the biological results. Each piece connects directly to the next.
And that leaves us with this one big, fascinating question to think about. If a really deep motivation, a truly powerful why, can literally reshape our daily habits and even our biology, what does that tell us about our whole concept of health?